Detroit Lions fans are so quick to use the word dynasty, and we haven't even been to our first Super Bowl. We had a chance to get there last year, but an opportunity was missed. No matter what you say, the stats show that an opportunity was missed and that Brad Holmes makes a move. If he makes the right move, we wind up in the Super Bowl and possibly winning our first one. Now, my tone might be a little harsh, but I'm not feeling any type of way. This video is just straightforward, no chaser. That's what it is. The Detroit Lions, I am convinced now, my emotions have been all over the place over the past couple of weeks since Aiden Hutchinson has gone down. And even before that, I was the only person on YouTube that informed you a long time ago. It's almost like I was Syndicate Adamus, man, predicted that the Lions would need pass rusher help. Okay. And they did not do that. They did that with Marcus Davenport. He went out. Aiden Hutchinson was a guy we could not afford to lose, and he's gone now. And we still won our first game without him. But the pass rush is in desperate need of help. And after some consideration and seeing how dynasties are actually built and sustained, I am convinced now that Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions will make a move. It might not be a move that I want necessarily, but at this point, I literally will take anyone. And I do mean anyone. Why am I bringing this up? Because the Chiefs, while they're not rich, they are the two-time defending Super Bowl champions. They have what we want. They have a dynasty. They came from the ashes of nothing. They were losers for 50-plus years, and now they own the NFL. How did they get there? They built through the draft, which is Brad Holmes. We've already went over that. Brad Holmes has done a great job in year 4 of doing just that. But what they do is they do just enough to always keep that dynasty rolling. Patrick Mahomes is having the worst year of his career, and the Chiefs, with a little ref help, are finding ways to win. And the Detroit Lions have done that thus far. But we talk about going to the dollar store. We talk about Dollar General, 29 and 2 for 50. And that might be how you build, but that's not how you sustain. And what are you talking about? What am I talking about? The Kansas City Chiefs, this happened hours ago, are finalizing a trade that will send DeAndre Hopkins, it's already done, to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5th rounder that can get to a 4th rounder. DeAndre Hopkins, a key veteran who could be the final piece. Hopkins' name has been hot in the trade market. He now lands with the champs. Now, Patrick Mahomes, they lost Rashee Rice. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster. He's dealing with a hamstring. They lost Hollywood Brown. So they've taken their lumps at receivers, but they're finding ways to win. This move might not necessarily take them over the top, but it'll help keep them where they need to be to continue to chase that elusive 3rd consecutive title. Why am I bringing DeAndre Hopkins into a Detroit Lions video? What the Chiefs are doing into a Detroit Lions video? Because we have talked about for years, okay, about building through the draft and just making a move. I am not necessarily saying that the Detroit Lions, if we get Myles Garrett, we're going to the Super Bowl. The Max Crosby days are over. He wants to stay a Raider. I applaud him. He can stay a Raider. That's loyalty. I appreciate that. I respect that. Moving on. We could make the move, such as a Myles Garrett. We could make a move, such as a Josh Uche, a Zadarius Smith. Whatever the situation, Brad has to do something. It has been proven that we cannot get pressure on the quarterback with the current roster of edge rushers that we have. And if Brad Holmes, being the general manager that he's proven to be and that we think he could be, this says he will make a move. Now, Dan Campbell has said that he's on the phone and that he trusts Brad. Whatever Brad says, he trusts that Brad is not going to force a guy. They look for a lot of things. They look for body of work. They look for contract, potential fit with the team, whatever the situation. I'm not saying DeAndre Hopkins. This is not about him. This is about how you create a dynasty and how you maintain a dynasty. Now, this team has not even been to the Super Bowl. We got to get there first. Once we get there, we check that box off. Once we win it, we check that box off. The Detroit Lions are the only NFC team to never appear in a Super Bowl. Let that sink in. The Detroit Lions are the only OG NFL team to never appear in a Super Bowl. I don't know if you knew that. Cleveland Browns, when they went away in the late 90s, they essentially started over. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not new anymore, but they've been around for 30 years. Then you have the Houston Texans, who are on their way to a potential Super Bowl berth this year. Those three teams are in the AFC. The Detroit Lions are in the NFC. Again, the only team that in the NFC that's never been to a Super Bowl. This team has been around since 1934. We are 90 years. We are in year 91, I believe it is. And we've never been. That must change soon. We're hoping that it's this year. Brad Holmes has created the dynasty potential. We are on our way potentially. And that's why I tried to stress to y'all in a few videos ago. We can't talk dynasty if we haven't even been there. However, Brad Holmes is building the proper way, but you have to be willing to make a move, and it has to be the right move. We can all agree that Donovan Peoples-Jones was not the right move. Now, how can this fifth rounder become a fourth rounder? Well, according to reports that I read, if it involves playing time and a Super Bowl appearance. I don't know if it's playing time in the Super Bowl or both. We talked about a Myles Garrett trade yesterday and how a conditional pick could go up from a second rounder or go from a third rounder to a second rounder if the Lions made the Super Bowl. You got to take chances in order to win it all. DeAndre Hopkins is not what he used to be. And I said the other day that I don't like doing that, but I'm only doing that because I want you guys to understand I'm not talking about necessarily the player DeAndre Hopkins as far as, he's DeAndre Hopkins from when he first got drafted. That's not what I'm saying. DeAndre Hopkins is just enough. And we don't have that. So I'm willing for Brad Holmes to do just enough. If that just enough is a Darius Smith and Josh Uche, if that just enough is Harold Landry, but you have to do something. That is the point of this video. You have to do something. You don't get to the mountaintop without taking some risk. In order to climb Mount Everest, you are taking a big chance with your life. You got to do something. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And in order to beat the best, you might have to make moves. So I'm convinced after weeks and months, and Brad Holmes has proven me wrong time and time again, that he does not do things like this. And it's not about DeAndre Hopkins, the player. It's about what DeAndre stands for. You know what? We are down receivers. We're finding ways to win, but we want to make sure we do something that has never been done in NFL history and three-peat. So, and with a guy, and you know what? We don't trade for Myles Garrett. Okay, cool. That's fine. We know that one man is not going to be enough. Even if that one man is Myles. If that one man is Myles, okay. You can put all the role players around him until Hutch gets back. And then when that happens, it's over. All right? But if you're not going to get a Myles, you got to get at least two role players. I'm okay with a Zadarius Smith, a Josh Uche. I'm okay with at this point, I'm trying to win the Super Bowl. And if Brad doesn't want to give up first round picks, if Cleveland Browns are asking for 2 or 3 first, then I understand. I will take the 2 first. Myles is going to be here for the duration of those 2 first round picks. And you're saying that you're going to win the Super Bowl in those 2 years. I'm okay. And you know what? I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck. If we did that and we lost the Super Bowl, we didn't win it, I'm okay with that. You tried. You took a chance. I'm okay. A lot of Detroit Lions fans, they talk about what they don't want. Oh, the Rams did this, but at what cost? Yeah, at what cost? A Super Bowl. That's at what cost. And yeah, it could have went either way. It was a little sketchy there. But Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Sean McVay, all of them guys are in history books for the 2021 Super Bowl champions. They took chances. They got what they wanted. Now, they're not a dynasty. They're not even close. But we can't talk about the Chiefs were not a dynasty when they won their first one. It wasn't to that second That's second in 5 years. You know what? We might be on to something. Then they go back to back. Oh, certified dynasty. The only team to ever do that in the last 20 years, at least, was the New England Patriots. And what did we call them? A dynasty. And they also did just enough. We cannot do less than. We have to do equal to. Brad Holmes, I'm convinced now he got to do something. That not only we know he got to do something, he will do something. I'm convinced that. For as smart as this man is, as killer as a drafter he is, he's got to know. He's got to know. And I'm going to tell you the one thing that makes me believe that Brad Holmes actually did try for Danielle Hunter. His demeanor at the trade deadline, when he announced the trade for Donovan Peoples-Jones, he seemed irritated. That is the only reason I believe that he tried to make a trade for Danielle Hunter. And maybe it was Danielle that said, you know what, I want to finish it out here. Don't trade me. Maybe all that stuff is true. We never got confirmation that was the case. I'm convinced now Brad will do something. What it is, I don't know. Will it be enough? I hope so. But he will do something. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Grit, all that stuff is fantastic. Our team is made of it. We are built for this type of thing. But you got the loss of Aiden is I told you guys, is catastrophic. It really is. You got one man getting as many pressures in one game as an entire team. Put that in perspective. You have 11 men on defense. 11. And collectively, those 11 in one game, according to PFF, got the equal amount of pressures of one man. If that doesn't tell Brad Holmes that he needs to do something, I don't know what will. Again, there's no salt. This is just, like I said, straight no chaser. We might have to make that a segment. Straight no chaser, because that's what this is. Brad Holmes, he didn't do just enough in free agency. He did less than. He has to do, if we're going to compete with champions and become champions ourselves, we have to do just enough. We cannot do less than. The Chiefs know what they have. They know what they're trying to get. They're trying to make history. And we're trying to stop them. Let me know your thoughts. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I am convinced now, Brad, he knows what he got to do, and he's going to do it.